Peace, peace, everybody. Peace, peace, and love out there, everybody out there. It's your brother Musosa Ankh Hat, aka Your Brozo, here with the Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. And as y'all, if y'all haven't tuned already, y'all know that Polka Dot Rabbit podcast is here to uplift humanity, but in addition, here to assist in waking up the woolly-haired, melanated beings that have been asleep for far too long. And I'm very happy to say that they're starting to wake up. And we're going to talk about some things that we've all been seeing in mainstream about, big names waking up and sharing this message. But, this is a night we got, what I'm saying? Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, you know what I'm saying? A lot of different cultures, they celebrate it different ways. And, so we call it Halloween. It's a metaphysical side to all of this. We're gonna talk about some of this tonight. You know what I'm saying? So if you haven't already, please check out yourbrozo.com. Check out my book, Bicultural Living and Leaving World of Illusions. People always ask me where I get my diversity from, and if you read that book, it tells you why. That's it for me. I got the good brother Uncle Rod, as I like to call him, here with us. How you doing, brother?
Peace to the gods. I'm here.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. We were supposed to have Priestess of Soot Ray Amun on here. Hopefully she might be able to come in later. I'm not sure what's happening with her, but if she does, you know what I'm saying, we'll get in, she'll get in when she fits in. So um this day, brother Rod, you know what I'm saying? I know that in Halloween, there's some metaphysics that come along with this day. You know what I'm saying? Could you kind of build on, what type of metaphysics come on with this day?
Well, this is a ancestral recognition day for us.
Mm-hmm.
But what they did is turned it into a commercialized entertainment holiday.
Mm.
But in the culture, you have Mardi Gras in New Orleans. You got Cinco de Mayo coming out of Mexico and other parts of Latin America. And in Brazil, you got Los Carnaval, right? And they all dress up according to their part of the culture, right? To honor the ancestors. So when you're talking about All Hallows Eve, you're talking about those souls that crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
So as the harvest come to a close, we're closing
Mm-hmm.
out the harvest season,
Mm-hmm.
right? Harvest season start like September to the end of November.
Mm-hmm.
All of the crops be out of the fields by the end of November. So the pumpkin patch was the main harvest right before All Hallows Eve. This is what makes the pumpkin become associated with Halloween. And the jack-o'-lantern is the um, Masonic influence on the holiday as Joaquin, one of the twin pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when you're looking at the cultural iconographs or icons that come with Halloween, it's normally the black cat,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's normally the witch on the broom
Mm-hmm.
and the pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now the witch's broom is called a besom, and it's for sweeping evil entities out of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The black cat is a spirit watcher. So when the witches do the conjure, the cats tell them where to look to communicate most effectively to the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So the cat becomes the familiar of the witch.
Mm-hmm.
Now they paint the witchy as an ugly old green ogre type chick, right? That's not the
Mm-hmm.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go to the Salem witch hunts, some of the descriptions of the women, they was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Sometimes they were so gorgeous they was accused of being witches in order to be that gorgeous,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
now we talking Medusa and Gorgon priestesses, where she's so beautiful that just stop you in your tracks. Like, God damn, that girl
Mm.
fast,
Mhm.
right? So these cultural um things. So around the pumpkin season, what's popular? The pumpkin spice, the pumpkin breads, pumpkin rolls, and they big things all the way up until Thanksgiving. Because what
Mhm.
we're doing is we are exhausting the pumpkin harvest,
Mhm.
and we're
Mm.
using the pumpkin patch to represent the um the sisters in the clan, right?
Mhm.
Who they like got a network. They on
Mhm.
the vine like a pumpkin,
Mhm.
right? So they become called the pumpkin patch. So you're talking about using the garden as a synonym for developing the people
Mm.
for the positions,
I see.
right? So this is all ancestral recognition and harvesting, dividing up of the food stuff. That's why you
Mhm.
collecting candy,
Mm.
right? On the heels
Mhm.
of this, you got all Saints Days coming up.
Mhm.
And it's another one of those days. They come up in the first 5 days of November,
Mhm.
right? And one of the days is to honor different ancestors from different groups,
Mhm.
right? So when you look at the New Orleans voodoo culture or Mardi Gras culture, you see them paint up with the skull like paint on their face
Mhm.
to look like the Baron.
Mhm.
These was tribes. The tribes. All you got to do is look up ghost paint Indians,
Mhm.
right, and you'll see them. But this is nothing new for us.
Mhm.
So we've been doing this for thousands of years. But if they take it out of the culture, we're gonna know something is up. Something is amiss. It's gonna be automatic. So they repackaged it and turned it into something that they call a holiday.
Mhm.
Holiday really supposed to mean holy day,
Holiday. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So when they commercialized it and turned it into a money making scheme, so that you don't know that it's the energy that you're supposed to be working with is ancestral.
Mhm.
Your ancestors' energy is performing at peak performance on All Hallows Eve,
Mhm.
especially the ones that like to get down and dirty. The alcoholic cousin,
Yeah.
the gambling uncle, the prostitute auntie,
Mhm.
right? They got their ancestors still.
Yep.
And to keep them from overtaking your life, and you have to clean the karmic energy up that they leave behind, and you leave them gifts of recognition, letting them know that they're not forgotten, but we ain't
Mhm.
doing that dumbass shit no more.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you
Mhm.
break generational curses.
Mhm. So yeah, because I know that and like you say in the culture, we call it Maklamu Zamut. You know what I'm saying? That they're the ancient ones. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And and most of the people already here. Just real quick, please follow, like, and share this because we about to get in. The priestess of Sut Raymond has not showed them yet. Like I said, please follow, like, and share. And another question for you. Okay, dealing with the Americas specifically. Okay, and dealing with magic. Um, like you just said, voodoo. Voodoo from Benin, voodoo, Haitian voodoo, etc. But dealing with hoodoo in America, I'm here specifically. What are the different types of magic that we utilize here as Native Americans?
We use the rain dances is real.
Hmm.
Crip walking is calling the lightning. Bee walking is calling the thunder.
Hmm.
Right? But in Chicago, they got different steps for their sets. They got different dances they do that harness different energy. When you put them all together, it's a storm dance, and they all stand together. They harness that energy and cause massive storms until the people that don't belong on the land get washed out.
Hmm. Back in back when we were at in Eatonton one time, and some of these people that were there, they remember this. There was something going on down at the courthouse, right? And Baba told us all to go down there, and we were walking around the courthouse. We were chanting, right? I can't remember exactly what we were chanting, but Uncle Ryan, let me tell you, 30 minutes later, that place was raining. There was blue skies before that. You know what I'm saying? I saw that with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? Um, in saying that, dealing with the magic, what is at in this day and time? What is an importance of us to and using our magic in this day and time?
Well, first you got to understand that the magic is rooted and only grows in that field of love.
Mm-hmm.
The torsion field of the body. The bigger the torsion field, the more powerful your magic is. What it is, modern terminology, they call the magic manifestation abilities.
Mm.
Right? So your ability to manifest is predicated upon how strong your spiritual body has developed. The bigger the conjure, the longer it takes, and the stronger you have to be to effectuate that conjure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With the close of the age, all of the open conjures have to be closed.
Mm-hmm.
So they close in the Haitian conjure. They
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get the word to Haiti that phase one is done, and then they have to do a street ritual to call back the Oshun energy of peace and prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
If they start doing the Oshun rituals, they change the whole world from Haiti. That's the only conjure that's still open, major conjure. All the rest of them are closed.
Mm. Wow. Mm. So, hmm. So what is it? What is it that we talk about a lot of us in America's here, you know what I'm saying, that are starting to wake up, you know what I'm saying, starting to get there, starting to see that we are native, you know what I'm saying, in our that we're that our bloodline and that everything we might have thought, oh, we're from Africa, but a lot of us, we here, we were raised here. What what would you what would you suggest for some of us that are here to start to try to connect back, you know what I'm saying, with that culture and that magic?
Um, First, you have to start reconnecting with different family members.
Mm-hmm.
The more parts of your family that you become familiar with,
Mm-hmm.
the higher your rank move up in the family. That's why I tell the young guys that's trying to be chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
try to talk to somebody you ain't never talked to that you related to at least once or twice a week while we rebuilding this process.
Mm-hmm.
We all got a cousin. We know they are cousin. We heard
Mm-hmm.
about them growing up, but we've never had a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get their mama phone number and call them and talk to them.
Mm-hmm. And
You know,
and it and I'm assuming that's also a great way to kind of start your own genealogy trail to where to find out, where you go. I'm dealing with older ancestors, to see where that bloodline ends up here in the States. You know what I'm saying? Is that correct?
all of that comes to side effects.
Uh-huh.
It all comes with it. When
Mm-hmm.
you start reaching out to different families, you start learning things about the family you never knew before.
Yeah.
Everybody got a piece of the family history, but the chiefs are the family historians who got to bring all of the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
Because you might have a niece that's doing the family research, and then you got a cousin. Well, they need to be in contact. You the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
facilitator,
Mm-hmm.
right? This also goes to the part of the title of matriarchy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matriarchy stems with everything started with the family.
Mm-hmm.
So the motto is family first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Protect the children. So the women surround the children. And the men is the soldiers that protect the women.
Mm-hmm.
When these things are being violated, it's outside of the laws of nature, then nature is off balance.
Mm-hmm.
When nature is off balance, you have all kind of treachery that comes with that.
Yeah. So, when I'm sitting here looking at I'm looking at the mainstream media, You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of, a lot of folks, a lot of celebrities out there, and it seems like, some of these people in key positions are, waking up and telling the truth. They it's like they don't even care. Let me ask you this question. All right. What is it about this day and time in which and it seems like it's becoming a snowball effect. You know what I'm saying?
It
What is it
is.
about? Yeah. What is it
Okay,
about?
so
Mhm.
this is the era where the rightful heirs to earth speak
Mhm.
up.
Mhm.
So wherever we at, we speaking up. The ones who have a platform is using a platform to speak up. We know
Mhm.
who done it. We know where they came from. We know
Mhm.
when they done it,
Mhm.
how they done it.
Mhm.
Right? So we calling them on it now.
Mhm.
They little boo boo sore because we calling them on it and we
Yeah.
ain't backing down this time.
Mhm.
And it's coming from multiple angles
Yeah.
simultaneously
Mhm.
to let you know that we on a collective move for a power struggle.
Yeah.
It's in the process. You watching it, but you ain't gonna realize what you was watching until it finally comes to a head and comes to a grand finale. It's a
Mhm.
real power struggle taking place right now.
Mhm. Yeah. And I see that. I mean, I watch it, but it's interesting to me because like going through information with Dr. York through the years, it's interesting because I remember reading about like the Nubian Islamic Hebrews. You know what I'm saying? I remember hearing about how I remember him breaking down Islam and Hebrew, but it's like we're way older than all that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's even that religious aspect itself. You know what I'm saying? You still think that's a good place to start with this conversation. So we even talk about the fact that we're much older and we've already had these civilizations before that. Is this
Well,
a
the
good?
first thing you need to understand about religion is it has nothing to do with spirituality or the creator.
Mm-hmm.
It's a social herding control mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
All religion is there to do is to teach you how to not use your power so
Mm-hmm.
that they can use your power on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
That ties back into the unum sanctum and other papal bulls that was signed to seize dominion of the people of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're not using your free will, then the law you say anybody's willing to use it is free to use it because it's available.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now all they have to do is put you in a position where you lend your will to support their power structure.
Mm-hmm. And then these people that receive these that are what's the word? What are people that are what is that word that most of the people, the Ashkenazis and all those people that they were converted? Okay, these individuals converted. Question: we know that like in Islam you have the Sufi order and there's different metaphysical orders inside of that. Did they have these orders as well on that
Yeah,
side?
that's the Kabbalah.
Okay.
Kabbalistic and other Babylonian money magic, Babylonian blood magic,
Mm.
Babylonian um blood sex magic.
Mm.
All of those things is written about in the Mishnah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they follow the Mishnah because they're using things that they learned in Babylon to subjugate
Mm.
the organic people,
Mm.
right? So religion was created by Constantine in 325.
Mm-hmm.
Before Constantine, it wasn't a religion because it wasn't your spirituality wasn't used as a political tool of control.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Alexander decided that if he could figure out what it was that these Sakai believed, because they were so stern that they would go to death for their beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
He said if he could control it, then he can rule the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he created the Nicene Council and brought those masters, um, philosophers of the day together,
Mm-hmm.
and they wrote what we know today as the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But the Old Testament was written hundreds of years after the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
New Testament was written first.
Mm-hmm.
The Old Testament, they needed a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
So those people of the Old Testament is more fraud than the people of the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
And the third book, Al's Quran, was written after the Old Testament,
Mm-hmm.
right? Several hundred years after Constantine first, no, 100 and some years after Constantine first assembled the Nicene Council.
So, with these individuals having that power back then, how much did the time frame astrologically affect their power then? You know what I'm saying? Because it's we're coming to age of Aquarius, and people become more. You know what I'm saying? What's the the difference between that time and this time?
Back then, they freely used what they call soothsayers and magicians openly.
Mm-hmm.
These was the ones who was masters of the conjures.
Yeah.
And if you was a noble of high standing, you needed your own magician. Today they'll call him your own wise man,
Mm-hmm.
right? So from there, the cultural development, now you don't know who the wise man is because they keep their astrologers
Hidden.
under the hush.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who uh Nostradamus, that's what he was into, writing quatrains as an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
John Dee was an advisor,
Mm-hmm.
right? Rasputin was an advisor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they all had these religious or mystics on their team in order to make them successful,
Mm-hmm.
because they was all using different conjures to empower the royal families to stay in a position of strong influence over the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you talk about the people from the Prussian hills,
Mm-hmm.
they came out of Prussia as converts, and the ones that came out of Spain as converts, and the ones who came out of France or Portugal as
Mm-hmm.
converts, right? They was doing that for business purposes.
Mm-hmm.
When they, no matter which one of them they converted to, it was for business purposes. Judaism, Christianity, or Islam
Yeah.
didn't matter.
About the money. Yeah.
It was always a business move
Mm-hmm.
based on the climate of the local environment, determines whether they're going to be Catholic this week, Muslim next week, or otherwise any other day of the week,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they strategize on how to hold on to prolonged power through a protracted struggle, a drawn out struggle. So we don't watch the long game, and we really don't pay much attention to the short game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where our problem come in, because we can't see what really happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I start pointing stuff out with receipts, people be like, "Oh shit,"
Yeah.
you know.
Connecting the dots. Yeah, yeah. No, that's real talk, man. Yo, okay, so question about this kind of goes along with matriarchy. You know what I'm saying? The rise of matriarchy, the rise of the divine feminine, but also are we also seeing by like I said earlier, the celebrities and stuff, are we seeing the rise of the divine masculine as well, as far as us getting our nutsack back and you know
Remember
enough is
this:
enough? Mm-hmm.
the divine masculine first responsibility is to secure the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
The divine feminine will not step out into her seat until her seat is secured by the divine masculine.
Mm.
So we begin to influence the other men to stand up as men, and then to give the women a certain peace and harmony, and it's contagious like the flu,
Mm. Yeah.
right? So that joy and that love that your woman feel when her friends come around, they feel it too.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That makes sense. Yeah, because yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hmm.
The ones who find true love is the ones that attract the most people to their house.
Mm-hmm.
I try to call.
Oh.
Yeah. So when a young couple in love, everybody want to be around them. That energy
Mm-hmm.
so contagious.
Mm-hmm.
That's why all of those elder women is always matchmaking.
Yeah.
Because they trying to get that spark in somebody that they can feel that energy, that love energy be expressed and it uplifts them.
Mm-hmm.
So they always go, woo girl, you gotta go on and let my daughter marry your grandson, good. Right? They already looking at how well they would get along and other things like that. Most of us don't know, but most of our relationships is arranged, but they're not openly arranged.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because if the female can't meet your mother in your heart center, your mama not gonna let her stay.
Yeah. She gonna
And
want
you're
to
not
run.
gonna never know what happened.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. See that? I mean, this for me, this is a real big thing that I'm seeing right now because people that read the information from all these master teachers, you know what I'm saying? Like we're seeing now, um, we're literally seeing now what they've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of regards, we're seeing it right in front of us. You know, and even that's what I was saying earlier about it's interesting that the people talk about how they're claiming their Hebrew, being a Hebrew, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know a bunch of Hebrew
All
cats.
that
It's all
means is
good.
somebody crossed over something.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm
The
saying?
term
But
actually is applied to those tribes from west of the Mississippi that went to fight the Gullah Wars.
hmm
Those are the Hebrews. Them
yeah.
the ones crossed the Mississippi. But they want to
Hmm.
use the biblical geography to mislead you into thinking that Abraham crossed the Tigris and Euphrates or
Yeah.
crossed the Nile. Moses crossed the Nile. However it come, they crossed the body of water. The mirror image of that over here, where we really talking about where the real shit going on, is
hmm
the Mississippi, which is the old Nile,
hmm
which is the other Nile is a replica of
hmm
mirror difference. So you using the Nile to indicate the flip before you build the pyramids,
hmm
right? So you're making a mirror from this land to that land
hmm
in order to get back to the Atlant, which
Yeah.
is Atlantis.
Atlantis. Yeah.
Only by knowing how to read the maps left on the ground and matching them to the maps left in the stars will you ever realize what in the fuck is going on,
hmm
right?
Yeah. hmm
So we refer to Charles Mosley Bay Clock of Destiny to get a rudimentary understanding of astrology, C. Freeman Neal to teach him metaphysics,
hmm
Taj Tariq Bay to teach him civics,
hmm
right?
hmm
Because they trying to get us all to believe we are Moors.
Yeah.
But the term Moor is only like from the 1200s or 1400s or some shit. This is
hmm
not even an ancient term.
hmm
And it actually literally means black.
hmm
So where's you saying?
Yeah.
But when you look at free white persons in law, it says a Moor.
More.
They got some other ones in there too, but they are the different parts of the different family lines of the same tree,
hmm
right? They came over here. They was Dutch, Portuguese, French,
French, Irish.
Spanish, right?
hmm
The
hmm
Irish came over on goodwill, but under different circumstances. A lot of them came over as indentures,
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
right?
hmm
But they already had ancestors from Ireland living in the
hmm
Appalachian Mountains. The children of Scotta, the red-head, freckle-faced people,
hmm
right? And Scotta is represented in the Vadun as Momo Brigé, red-head, pale-skinned European,
hmm
right? And
hmm
Nova Scotia is named after her twin sister, Scotia, who had brown skin and red hair.
hmm
So when you go back and look, They took Sacagawea back to London to be evaluated to see if she was the princess.
Mm-hmm.
They sent her ass back. She ain't the one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
They sent Pocahontas over there. They sent her ass back because she ain't the one.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't find her, right? Because they was looking for misdirection,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when the people came over here to steal our birthright, the goal is for us to be so confused about who we is, we don't know what part of the ocean we came from. Did we come from Africa or Europe, or did we come from the Americas? We was already here.
Already. Yeah. Yep.
We've been here so long, we had to build here in order to get here.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long we've been here, right? But we don't remember because we was under the spell of Kingu,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kingu was the spell cast when they stole the scrolls of destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And the scroll of destiny is the scroll of rulership. It's also referred to as the caste sutras from India that Alexander went to go get, who was
Mm-hmm.
Enlil's son.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to get it from the Tibetan monks. So that's the same place that Adolf Hitler sent his SS team
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted to get the rest of the scrolls of destiny.
Mm-hmm.
But the people from the mountain, from Tibet, wouldn't give them up. That's why the Chinese was making them set themselves on fire and shit
Mm-hmm.
and murdering them because they was trying to get the rest of the scrolls, but they was already in the public domain and they couldn't tell them where they was at because they don't know.
Hmm. So, mm. so dealing with, like we were saying, this waking up and dealing with CERN and dealing with going to fourth dimension. Is
CERN is shut
CERN
down right now.
is shut down right now?
Anything they tell y'all about CERN operating right now is it's a psyop.
Is a psyop? Is there a reason why it's shut down?
Yep, it's the close of the age. That kind of technology they was allowed to be used at the close of an age before, and during the transitional phase, somebody tried to use it to take power.
Mm.
So now, at the close of every age, if you have a portal device, it has to be shut down
Mm.
until the power dynamic is shifted totally.
D-
It's the same as shutting your docks down and keeping the ships out in the ocean for prolonged periods of time while you're changing over your government.
Is that is that something that the Galactical Confederation was pretty much saying since the powers was law, since the power shift was handed from before? Is that
Right,
something that?
because you got to remember, we in this condition because Tahuti Thoth blew up something called the Gandiva, the great
Hmm.
planet destroyer weapon, because before he let Enlil take over, he'll blow this bitch to smithereens.
Hmm.
So now what you have is the Galactic Council intervention
Hmm.
and the conjures. If we can close the conjures at the close of the age, if we can raise one from among the many out of the amnesia to close all
Hmm.
of these conjures up,
Hmm.
then we win in the battle for Earth.
Hmm.
Because then we competent enough to rule Earth as Earth beings.
Earth's rightful owners.
Right.
Hmm. That makes sense.
All of the Anunnaki, the lines of Enlil and the lines of Enki was ordered to leave.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
Now they couldn't leave during the Kali Yuga. It was an
Hmm.
artificially induced Kali Yuga. The reason they couldn't leave, that we was in what's called the Pleiadian light lock. So once we was able to break free from the conjure, the Kingu spell, then it put us in the position Inky was able to go back now,
Hmm.
right? But he had to go back in order to get Enlil out of here because Enlil couldn't stay And if Enlil get caught down here, he getting hit with a soul splitter. As
Yeah.
simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he will not do the bullshit that he did to humanity again.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
already know that Tahuti ain't playing. If he say he gonna hit Enlil ass with the soul splitter, get him the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he didn't
Mm.
have no problem annihilating the earth, what make you think he ain't gonna have no problem annihilating that motherfucker?
Yeah. Yeah. And that battle, I mean, what is that something similar that happened on Mars?
All of these planets was involved in the conflicts.
Yeah.
That's where they brought warrior women from Venus, soldiers from Mars, the planet Europa sent troglodytes to fight. It was nasty. It wasn't just Earth. And Earth just so happened to survive it.
Yeah.
This was ground zero of the battle zone.
Mm-hmm.
See, the way that Enlil made his move was nothing short of genius.
Mm-hmm.
He wait to Anu make a Earth visit and is in dinner with Enki and Ainana, and then he shoot for the power seat of Earth because if he can take Earth, he can take Nibiru,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
Tahuti was 2 steps ahead of him, had already sent his brother Marduk, not to be confused with Enlil's son Marduk, who was named after Enki's son Marduk, right? So he was sent to secure Nibiru because we already knew Enlil gonna make a move if Anu come down here because nobody's gonna be in a position to stop him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why they say Michael and his angels fought, and the dragon and his angels fought,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're talking about securing both Nibiru and Earth simultaneously, or else
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason for the fight to end up on Earth.
Yeah.
But they was trying to seize Earth and take us from free will to restricted will military rule, a dictatorship.
Yeah. Dictatorship. Yeah. So dealing with all of like these different things, 'cause reading the news and stuff, they talk about, oh, now the U.S. is talking about they wouldn't use nuclear attacks, and Putin's talking about nuclear attacks, all this stuff. And prior, after they dropped the bomb, they dropped the bomb in Hiroshima. They started having more extraterrestrial involvement. Is that is that still going to be an intervention now with these humans trying to deal with these nuclear technologies still?
They have ships stationed. If they use nuclear armaments, whoever pushed the button first getting
Mm-hmm.
annihilated.
Mm,
The whole country,
mm,
innocent and all.
mm,
So they can try it. It's a bad
mm.
idea.
Yeah. Now, are they aware of this?
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
told
They've been told. Okay.
and showed.
Mm. So these top ranking officials of these governments, they've all intermingled or been in contact with extraterrestrials, and these extraterrestrials like, yo, y'all can't be tripping, or y'all getting your ass whipped, pretty much.
It don't exactly work like that. They pick
Okay.
their picks of who they communicate with.
Mm. Okay.
And the person they communicate with, they send them as an ambassador all over the earth.
Gotcha.
They ain't friendly,
Mm-hmm.
but they nice.
Yeah. Nice enough.
That makes sense to
Yeah. Yeah.
you.
Nice enough. Nice enough. Yeah. No, the reason why I even say that, because if that's even with the spiritual aspect back rising, we see, the technological aspect. And once technology is put in the hands of some of these big children, you know what I'm saying, there can only be bad results. So I guess that's why we need the overseers, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that these big kids don't throw tantrums, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it boiled down to this. It was at a time before they came, we lived, this was paradise.
Hmm.
And people came here to have love stories.
Hmm.
Then the gangsters came to school and
Yeah.
shot that bitch up.
Hmm.
And now everybody in school scared to be in class.
Hmm. Mm. Eh. So let me ask you. I'm going to go backtrack a little bit because something you said earlier, and some people they like to have the questions about magic and etc. So what's the connection between magic and manifestation?
Magic is activating the manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about manifestation, it's talking about bringing what you conceived in your mind
Mm-hmm.
into the physical reality, using your creative potential.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic. The magic is the process and the
Mm-hmm.
energy being used and harnessed for it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people in the chat they're asking where the sister the priestess Asut Mun is. I haven't contacted her. I contacted her. I haven't heard back from her. I'm not really sure if something's going on. So if she does come in, what I'm saying, she's more than happy to come in. In the meantime, please follow. What I'm saying, like this and share this because this is some good information. I really wanted her to come on to kind of she be built on the matriarchal aspect and that's what we were kind of going to build on. But I'm just hope all is well on her end. Make sure everything's cool, and I'm sure I'll heal back from her. But in the meantime, going like what you were saying about magic and manifestation. One of the things that she said the last time she was at the lecture, she was talking about us having our own magic. Now, what is I mean, what is the importance? Because we have different schools. You can go to Voodoo, Haitian Voodoo, etc. What do you say about learning your own magic that works for you?
Okay, all those other schools of thought
Hmm.
is for you to learn the basic principles for you to make it your own.
Hmm. Yeah.
How I use the teachings of voodoo,
Hmm.
Islam, Christianity, Judaism, any of that is not the same as anybody else.
Yeah.
My worldview is different.
Hmm.
Therefore, the outlook when I use those things is going to be different. My purpose is going to be different,
Yeah.
right? So my goal was to find all of the missing pieces to the puzzle and put it back together in this great mystery of who done it and where in the fuck is the devil today,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So when we realized that the white man ain't even fucking white,
Hmm.
right? And that the black hand was the black hand that was under the KKK robe.
Hmm.
And the KKK came from Barcelona, Spain in
Hmm.
uniform.
Yep.
And this was brought from Barcelona, Spain by conquistadors. Conquistador translates correctly into English as Tudor conquerors or conquerors of the House of Tudor, which is the black nobility family in Europe.
Hmm.
That's one of the lines of Enlil.
Hmm. Mm.
And so they swore that by that we was their perpetual enemies until the close of time, which is the close of the age.
Close of the age. So that means that there was, like you said, there was somebody behind the scene that was using other folks on top of the scene to do all this dirt and a plate straight misdirection, as we know in football, straight
Right.
up.
So when we thought that pale skinned people
Mm-hmm.
was making mockery of us by doing blackface,
Mm-hmm.
they was really telling us that behind them was a black face.
Mm.
But we didn't know how to read it
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't know the European conjures or the Celts and the
Mm-hmm.
Druids.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we didn't, once we got that together, we started understanding the practices of Odinism
Mm-hmm.
and the conjures that the European used. We seen that they was telling us the whole time that somebody behind us pulling the strings and they look like y'all. But we didn't understand how to read it
Up until now.
up
Now,
until now.
yeah, up until now. Yep. So this whole time, along with everything else, we've been misled. We've also been misled on who our true enemy is.
Yep.
Our most powerful,
Because
most powerful.
our true enemy look like us. They've been our enemy before it was any a pale face on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to Bobby Hemmett, he tell you the counterfeit spirits came in at the beginning.
Yeah.
They got ousted one time, but somebody brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
They brought back all of our former adversaries to align with them to overthrow us once and for all, and it still didn't work. Because some of our former adversaries, like the Andromedas,
Mm-hmm.
became allies through the alliance with the Galactic Council,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right? The Procyon, who
Mm-hmm.
we had conflict with before, but through the Galactic Council, they became allies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we always had close association with the Pleiadians and the Arcturians anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So by them having seats on the Galactic Council was just making our position for freedom and liberation from the tyrannical scientists that call themselves gods,
Mm-hmm.
that subjugate intelligent, sentient beings to do the work that they don't want to do.
Was there a connection between the malevolent reptilians, or the bad reptilians, I should say, and these these I just best black and better term call them black devils? Was there a connection between those two, or was it more just with the dealing with the Anunnaki?
Well, you got to remember, the Anunnaki is like a United Nations of galaxies on
ETs,
that
yeah.
motherfucker. You
Mm-hmm.
got motherfuckers that's reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
You got motherfuckers that look like Chewbacca on that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the Wraith.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of beings that different ones of the Anunnaki married and brought aboard Nibiru
Mm-hmm.
and started family lines.
Mm-hmm.
Right, those are the families of Nibiru.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where they conflicts come from. Some of the family line feel like they mother or their father was a superior individual than your mother or father, therefore that make them superior to you.
Yeah. And hmm, that makes me think now because so what so the this is kind of still going back to where we are saying the power conflict of today is pretty much in our position is what there everybody's pretty much waiting for us to wake up to understand who we were originally to take over control again, correct?
Yeah. Oh well, it was like this. Only one of us had to be successful.
Uh-huh.
So when one of us get the puzzle put together, we become obligated to tell the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Each one teach one, we all gonna be some.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when they tell me what the instruction is, I see the layout in front of me. I follow the instructions and get all of the gather all of the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get all the pieces, I put the puzzle together and say, "This is what the puzzle say."
Yeah.
But people be trying to think it's what I say. I ain't say it. That's what the puzzle say when you put it together.
Yeah, when you put it together, yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Here's a question here. Somebody just got a who in the cosmos are on our side, and what about the Syrians?
The Syrians has always been favorable to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the Syrians, you talk about Sirius A, Sirius B.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the Dogon,
Okay, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about Orion, right, which is right next, well, it's the next door neighbor galactically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
right? We talking about Zulu,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they had already had connections before either one of them ever came to Earth
Mm-hmm.
because they existed long before we did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all a speck in the oceans of eternity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it seemed like it's forever when we trapped in the three-dimensional field of time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no such thing as forever.
Yeah.
because forever got to have a limit.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to end somewhere. It got to begin somewhere. Yep.
Yep.
All right. You got the questions are pouring in some more. Let's see. We got Ninsix, Ninsix Zangzida and Murdoch are brothers. So are you and the Master Teacher brothers? That's the question.
For the most part, we weren't born in this incarnation as brothers,
Mm-hmm.
but on the Anunnaki lines, we would be brothers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Got another one. How will the conjurer affect all of us once um, it reached Florida? Once was it altitude when the
Haiti win the war.
Haiti, yeah, Haiti.
Okay, so they already won. They already closed the war part of the conjure out. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is several fold. One,
Mm-hmm.
they got to get the message that the war conjures closed so people in Haiti can call the Oshun ritual in the open. They had to do the open Oshun ritual, which gives us the go ahead to do the ritual in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
When the sisters do the ritual in Florida, that's the knockback to Haiti. And then Haiti gonna open up for international relief,
Mm-hmm.
proportions that they never thought they would receive.
Mm.
And it's gonna turn the warring energy of the Haitian into a more loving and compassionate energy.
Mm.
And barbecue down there is the one that's leading that aspect of the change.
Yeah, I saw that, brother. Yeah. Um, and it's an interesting question. I was kind of I won't gonna talk about it today, but here it says, what about the Titans? Because I was reading somewhere before because of the way the sun was positioned on this earth in the age we were in the past, everything was just bigger. Everything was just bigger. You know what I'm saying? Is that the fact? Is that where the Titans come from? Just that.
Titan form can't fit in the Earth atmosphere.
Say again.
The Titan form can't
Mm-hmm.
fit in the Earth atmosphere.
Mm.
Your Titan form is your like high dimensional spirit body,
Mm. Okay.
right? And we used to be able to incarnate and you be big as hell on Earth,
Yeah.
right? Now we don't use that form anymore to incarnate because of the fourth dimension being collapsed into the third dimension.
Mm.
So when they put the Pleiadian light lock over the Earth, the Pleiadian light lock, the rules from the Galactic Council is no more of those mythical beasts that we see in the history, the
Yeah.
unicorn, and all that. Any
Mm-hmm.
of those magical beings, they have to come in as a human and follow the rules of being a human.
Mm.
So that's why a lot of them are going to be leaving because they came here to experience life as a human and only to experience life as a human.
It's a different template. It's a different playground here, and they got to abide
It's
by those
yeah.
rules.
The rules
Yeah.
of Earth, the rules of Earth when Earth was created through the holographic construct is so unique that everybody wanted to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Like in other free will universes, no matter how bad it gets, you never feel sorrow and misery.
Mm-hmm.
That was a new addition to the earth realm.
Mm-hmm.
The experience of sorrow and misery is a reverse of higher emotional attainments. So this is the exact opposite, that you have to lift yourself up from feeling that way
Mm-hmm.
into putting yourself into feeling like the God you already are, but you
Mm-hmm.
just don't know it yet.
Yeah. Party amnesia. Yeah. Is that and it seemed is this where we need to be headed to as a just an overall planet? You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one time you were talking about the lug frequency and
Mm-hmm.
etc. You know what I'm saying? And I travel around a lot, and you know, the mindset that I see amongst people. Now you still got a lot of knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted, but I definitely could say in the last 20 years I've seen a change. You know what I'm saying in people. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's because a lot, maybe some of the older mindsets are dying off, or people just, or the frequency is raising. Is that a part of why you're starting to see, some a difference in people as far as coming together?
Well, yeah, and not only that, and since like the mid 70s, indigo children have been being born.
Yeah.
And they born specifically to alter the frequency of the earth
Mm,
so that we can break from the rigid old ways and see a better way for the future.
mm-hmm.
So while people are trying to fight for freedom,
Mm-hmm.
freedom ain't nothing you have to fight for
Mm-hmm.
by marching.
Mm-hmm.
You have to exercise freedom.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't exercise freedom, no matter how hard you fight, you can't have it.
Yeah.
Freedom is being free. It's a verb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a process. And the rules for the earth realm is to find your best life while in the realm of earth, and you'll find your life calling. And
Mm-hmm.
that make it all a love story instead of a horror story. Changing the paradigm, the
Mm-hmm.
great paradigm shift.
And where does Earth itself, the entity, how does that fit in?
These frequencies and upgrades causes the earth itself to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
When the earth start upgrading, the chemical composition in the soils is the same as the chemical composition in the people.
Mm-hmm.
So what earth go through, the people go through. What the people go through, earth go through.
Mm-hmm.
When we become abusive to earth, it's because we being abusive to one another.
Mm-hmm.
But when we become loving to one another, that means we learned how to love the earth we live on.
Mm-hmm.
That's all going into the system of matriarchy and the understanding of the great
Mm-hmm.
law
Yeah. Yeah.
of the land, air, and the water.
So where does the sun factor into? Because I remember the brother what's his name Double Blair. He was saying that the sun is giving permission to the earth to go to from kindergarten to the next dimension. So is that what these solar flares are that we keep on saying? Is it like a wake up call for us as a melanated people on the planet and the earth?
Okay, you know about computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You type something into the search bar and then you push enter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a flash and then to pull up what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
That flash is the solar flare
Mm-hmm.
of the data that Earth has been told by Prime Creator to send us for the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, it spit out the solar flare.
Mm-hmm.
The solar flare is all the stuff that's typed in the space bar being sent down here as the answer to the question.
Mm. The download.
Yeah.
So those what do they call those energy what do they call them? The starts with a C, quinones or I can't remember the name of them. But all that is energy that we absorb as information, correct?
Yeah. So I like to explain it like this.
Uh-huh.
The angels of light are messages that come in on angles of light.
Mhm.
The angles of light proceed from the sun.
Mhm.
They amplify by the water. And if you wear white, you become um, a super receiver for that message.
Mm.
So this is why in the Oshun rituals, they're always in the water in the white.
Right. Yeah. I see. Technology.
Yeah.
Technology. Yep. Conduits.
Every,
Technology.
every woman is a Tesla coil.
Yeah, everyone with a Tesla coil. Yeah, and if it's interesting because even if you go to some of these rituals, I don't care if it's voodoo, Haitian voodoo, and you see them women, man, they flip like that. You know what I'm saying? They connect like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Is that the? I'm assuming that's all the stuff like you talked about the witches earlier, and all of that's connected to the female, the matriarch, and also like the Sybil, correct?
The Sibyls were priestesses. It was 21 Sybil priestesses,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And the Sybil priestesses would sync with the queen mother of the earth,
Mhm.
and they would come from each tribe,
Mhm.
right? So all of the tribes would send one to go learn to be a Sybil priestess from the great priestess herself, the high priestess, the highest of priestesses,
Mhm.
the great mother, queen of heaven and earth, right? So them being in sync with her, they become her ambassadors to the world because wherever they at, she there.
Mhm.
That's why I say in the Bible, wherever you at, the Lord is there also.
Yeah. Where so what about the when was the fall of matriarchy? You know what I mean? What and what was
That's
the fall of
when
matriarchy?
Alexander usurped Helen
Mhm.
by gaining the Destiny Scroll,
Mm.
surrendering it to his father's line
Mhm.
in order for them to rise up in Rome as a patriarchal empire
Mhm.
that had homosexual philosophy as the base philosophy.
Yeah.
Roman philosophy is the greatest love is between a man and a boy.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly opposite of the earth doctrine.
Mhm.
The earth doctrine is the greatest love between a man and a woman in which they produces a child,
Mhm.
right? What we call the great trinity.
Mhm.
Every time a child is born, that's another trinity. That's another three,
Mhm.
right? So the child is a sum total parts of the mother and the father
Mhm.
in character and in deed,
Mhm.
right? So the Sibyls, wherever they went, it was like the Queen of Heaven and Earth was there. She know everything going on wherever they at.
Mhm.
She can see through their eyes, they can see through hers.
Mm. All connected.
It's a connected hive link.
Mhm. Now, I see a lot of things as well. That's it. You know, you got these people that saying, "Oh, they putting up things, putting up chemtrails. They're putting up different things to try to block the sun."
They
Now,
were.
mhm, we
They
said,
were.
yeah, they were.
They cleaning that shit up now.
Mm. I guess my question is still, as much as these so-called men try to combat this ascension or this, this reawakening, so to speak, is there is there an opposition towards these people?
Yep. Toward the
Hmm.
ones trying to wake everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's automatically gonna be an obstacle, resistance.
Hmm.
It's gonna be resistance to the ones asleep, not wanting to wake up.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then it's gonna be resistance from the ones who don't want us waking nobody up.
Hmm.
Then it's gonna be resistance from the ones who swore to fight against us until the end of time,
Hmm.
right? And they gonna fight to the last man standing.
Hmm. And that I get that's my question. Who's fighting against them? You know what I'm saying? What is it the opposition that's fighting against them? I guess in our behalf, or is it just the fact that we got to wake up and start to fight them? You know what I'm saying? Or do we have that extra help?
We got all the help we need.
Hmm.
The problem is us becoming consciously aware
Hmm.
of a power shift taking place without the government telling you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Because the energy is in the air and all of the signs are available.
Hmm.
But the people are still in slumber.
Hmm.
They still not understanding what they're seeing in front of their face.
Yeah.
And the false narrative is still captivating the audience, keeping them misled.
Yeah. They still in the matrix. They still, in front of the boob tube. You know what I'm saying? And they're still, most of it's
Plugged
still,
in.
yeah, plugged in. Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, because it's like even now, like we said earlier, it seems like there are some major shifts, man. Because I never, I mean, there was cats that I really can't even say on this bigger level, individuals that have this big bullhorn that are speaking out like they are right now, not, I- I guess maybe in the entertainment, maybe it was more on the political side, but these entertainers and sports athletes that are doing this now, I mean, you can't help but get people's attention on this level. This is for me, this is like something new on this level. You
Yeah.
feel me? I've
Yeah.
never seen this like this.
48 laws of power say create a compelling spectacle.
Uh-huh.
Right? Hegelian
Mm,
dialectics say start the shit, watch your reaction, and then come with a solution.
mm,
Right? So all of these things converging together.
yeah.
The the uh the ancient code of kings.
Mm-hmm.
It say when the conspiracy against the king has been discovered, he dragged the conspirators out in the open
Mm,
before he execute them and publicly read their crimes before the public and lay the conspiracy bare,
mm-hmm.
so that the public will demand the blood of the traitor.
Yeah.
And then the king so graciously delivers the traitor's head on a silver platter.
Mm,
But we don't remember the ancient code of kings.
yeah. Yeah. All right, let me see. They had another question here. Let me see if oh, here we go. It says, what is the name of the gatekeepers of the Dendora?
I don't know.
Yeah, gatekeepers in the. I'm actually I remember names. What I don't. I remember reading the book that Baba put out talking about the gatekeepers, but I remember even seeing no names on them. But I mean, just the fact that there are gatekeepers, huh? Let's move on to the next one. Oh, this is more of a comment.
Yeah.
Yep, moving in frequency of a tribe, man. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean that's what you're just saying as far as even dealing with the Sybil, just connecting, together. But yeah, man, that's. Hold on one second. Oh, never mind. That ain't a good one. But yeah, bro. Let me go back here. If y'all haven't already, please, the brother's Cash App is here up here. You know what I'm saying? Please support the good brother. He's doing this, for really for our behalf to try to wake us up, man. So it's $ SikApe. That's his Cash App. Hold on one second. I'm freezing here. Hold on one second. I got another question.
Oh, that's psychic self defense here.
Mm-hmm.
When you
You.
when you learn how to harness
Mm-hmm.
your own energy, and to control your energy, you can easily disorient a person with just a look,
Mm.
right? Because you can thrust your energy through your eyes the same as you can thrust your fist to their jaw.
Mm. All right. Can a person reincarnate as their own daughter after dying a few months after giving birth to that child?
It won't be. It will. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible because some every now and then the person can't find a person they're willing to come back through,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll say fuck it, and
Yeah.
then they'll self reincarnate, right? The child takes up to 9 months in order for their soul to calibrate to a frequency,
Mm.
to lock them into a character of who they are, and they drawing that energy through the DNA from the family line anyway.
Mm.
So if the mother is not present in physical form, it's just a matter of calibrating that energy from the other side to get into this side.
Mm. All right. Do you believe that the year 2050 is the end of a 400-year enslaved period of mental and physical slavery?
They already that's already over.
Mm-hmm.
There was a house resolution commemorating the 400 years back in, I think, 2018, 2017,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they acknowledged the 400 years. That's actually a closing of a contract that's known as the biblical contract of the Pope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is a question on what we were talking about earlier about we were talking about Egypt and America and the Nile and etc. Because I remember somebody, I can't remember who it was. They were saying that like Egypt was Hollywood. You know that they made it look all
That was me,
oh Egypt
because
was
that's what it
Hollywood.
was.
Yeah.
It was just to reenact the holy drama,
Uh huh.
right? The holy
Hmm.
drama is to keep the memory of the great debauchery in the domain of the public,
Hmm.
so that when we come back and remember who we are, we'll know what the
Hmm.
judgment was and how to render the judgment to the public so that you can resolve the matter at the close of the age.
Hmm. All right. Another one. Where do ancestors go when they transition? What realm does the Northern Lights have anything to do with our transition?
Oreo Borealis is the northern lights, and that's a reflection off of the inner earth onto the atmosphere. Um, the realm, the fifth dimensional realm, is the realm that we go to between incarnations. The fourth dimensional realm is what we call the dream realm.
Mm-hmm.
But because the fourth and third was collapsed on each other, that's why you have to split your day between the two dimensions.
Mm.
But when you leave your physical form, you recoil back to the fifth dimension unless you done doing your work here. Then you go all the way back up to the 19th.
And I all the way to the top. All right. How much are we a fusion of our parents and a completely different soul in this body?
We gonna always, because the DNA got it seems infinite, but it has a limited number of frequencies for a soul to incarnate into a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like 4 points on the entire genome that line up to allow certain energy frequencies to come back in.
Mm-hmm.
These frequencies is coming from the union of the two lines, mother line, father line. When they cross, the individual then lets out a frequency and then becomes a composite of both sides of the family.
Mm.
And the fusion is not always the same. Sometimes 20% mama, 80% daddy. Sometimes it's 80% mama, 20% daddy. That's when they look at a child and say, you your mama
Yeah,
child,
yeah.
so you chose your daddy child. They can
Mm-hmm.
look at you and tell, right? That's because you have a controlling percentage of one or the other.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Do you think children of light will incarnate simultaneously when the time is right? Light code activation of the melanated being. So the children of light is the rainbow children, the indigos. They've been coming in for the better half of 45 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And they are awakened at different levels because we don't all wake up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But they all got gifts to offer humanity for the upgrade of humanity.
All
The,
these. Go ahead.
see where it said the light code activation?
Mm-hmm.
That's the solar rays coming in. So you remember the tattoo Rasheed Wallace got on his shoulder of
Mm-hmm.
Akhenaten and the sun rays?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that represents.
Mm-hmm.
Activating of the light code and the melanated being. But the melanin is auto sentient. It's conscious on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And you trying to learn how to communicate with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the prime source or the microphone is at the base of the spine. Think matrix plug in.
Mm. It's all now. This is a question that I have. I remember some individuals are trying to say that this reality is a simulation. You know what I mean?
It's a
That this
hologram.
yeah, that it's a simulation. Now the grand architects. You know what I'm saying? It's a grand architect. Like for example, you dealing with a new. That's the Most High on whatever the case may be. The source. Is the source the grand architect? Would that be the grand architect?
So you look at sources, Big Mama.
Okay.
Big Mama delegate responsibilities to the ones who's capable in that particular field.
Gotcha.
She creates you as a sentient creator being for the purposes of manifesting reality before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you got different expressions of reality throughout the boundless universes,
Mm-hmm.
right? A good show to watch to get an idea what I'm talking about is Sliders,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you got light spectrums, you got sound ranges, and the combination where they cross at different locations vibrated a different frequency of reality to produce a different reality than the one you see. So right now we are in a grand dance to create tomorrow while we burning yesterday down. We done with yesterday. Now all we take from it is the memories in order to take the lessons from it to build a better tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow ain't here yet because we ain't built it,
Yeah,
but
built it
we in
yet.
the process.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Rod, I died in my sleep and came back. Saw my angel hovering orange light above my head in 7 Mile in 2004. And I wondered if it was Christ or Hootie's lineage since I was a child.
It's I would need more information,
Yeah. That's,
more background
mm-hmm.
on him and his situation.
Grandmaster Hayes, what exactly is in the red iron oxidized dust around the sky, a sun from the sky?
The tail of Nibiru, the red iron oxide is the rust because it's a brown dwarf. It's a collapsed star and it took
Mm-hmm.
on a metallic form. The Anunnaki, along with several other of their allies, hollowed it out and turned the inside into a terraform habitation. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the iron oxide blows off the surface of Nibiru as it hurls through space as a dust trail.
Mm. What if this Earth is going through an upgrade? You know what I'm saying? And are there some certain beings that on here that cannot go along with the upgrade? And what about the beings inside the Earth? Even these humans that are building inside the Earth, will they be affected by the upgrade?
Everything with a genome going to be affected. Some things
Mm-hmm.
are not mitochondrial base, won't be able to sink to the earth,
Yeah.
and it'll either leave from being repelled by the earth or it's going to die on earth. But if it don't come from a mitochondrial base that can link to the earth, it will not be allowed to reincarnate back here. So it'll by default it'll have to go back to its point of origin.
Mm. Again, back to the Matrix. Hmm.
Right. So you keep hearing me bring up the mitochondria
Mm-hmm.
because this is a critical link to the earth sinking process.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the whole Enlil war in heaven was about. The inability of the man to control a feminine planet using patriarchy because he can't rule, because he can't have the birthright, because he doesn't have the X chromosome of rulership.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once the war started, the one with the Y chromosome had to also have the X chromosome of the mother blood typing
Mm-hmm.
in order to be the heir.
Mm-hmm.
And that left only one what you call um, one option available.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's always one son,
Mm-hmm.
because he's the only one that's available that is on the frequency from the mother line and the father line.
Is it is there I know that back in time, certain times women were able to impregnate themselves. Will that ever have to happen again? Um that
That stopped because they put the moon there to block out the Lilith energy of Saturn.
Mhm.
And the women had to relearn moon magic with their Saturn magic or their Lilith magic. Once they understand how to tune their frequencies of their body, they will be able to spontaneously reproduce what we call parthenogenesis.
Mhm.
But only certain ones of them would be allowed to do it,
Mhm.
right? So her status would be queen,
Yeah.
like the queen bee, queen termite, queen ant.
Mhm. Hmm. All right. Question here, can you relate or describe the cosmic slop?
Um, that's kind of difficult to. I'm not sure when she used the term cosmic slop. I'm thinking she's talking the waste product of creation
Mhm.
being stirred up,
Mhm.
but I'm not familiar with it as this term.
This is an interesting question. Can we reincarnate in the same timeline after death, like a video game, if you don't beat the level?
Yeah, sometimes you'll go back and live the same exact life over until you make the right choice where you got killed.
Mm.
So you will just be reliving the same timeline. You just monkey flip back to the beginning in your consciousness. So you don't make that move that got your ass murdered.
Yeah.
Soon as you figure it out, you've learned in the self now. But you can
Eh,
definitely reincarnate on the linear timeline.
mhm. And now, is that as long as you're playing that loop? Is that hell? Is that your own personal hell?
Um, Hell is subjective
Mm-hmm.
because what they tell us is hell comes from a trash dump in Ur of the Chaldees,
Mm-hmm.
which they called it the city of fire, where they dispose of waste product and executed criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Where you get your verse, there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth from throwing. And they also used to dispose of the synthetic workers using that method.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh man. All right. Let's see. Let's see if got any more questions here. I know you might want to hold on a second. My computer's lagging for some reason. There are times I babble, and when it's happening, it reminds me of the term speaking in tongues, but I feel like I'm speaking ancient language. Can you break this down for me?
You have to learn how to translate it into English.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you learn that, it all makes sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna make sense until you. So if you find yourself doing it, if you can record it and listen to it and ask yourself, I feel like, what do I feel like I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're in tune with your emotional body, the expression of the feelings that's coming across can help you to translate what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of time we are literally speaking Atlantean or um, um, ancient Akkadian or something.
Yeah.
A lot of those ancient languages.
Mm-hmm. All right, brother. I'm not seeing any more questions. You know what I'm saying? And I ran out of my questions, man. So hey, um, hopefully, like I said, hopefully the good sister can, we can get back on there. I really wanted y'all to get, on here. I don't know. I'm like I said, I hope she's okay. I'm gonna reach out to her again to see if all is well. But
Yeah,
regardless,
just
you know
let
what
her
I'm
know
saying?
we missed her, and next
Yeah.
time when she ready, we'll be ready.
Yep. Indeed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, that's it for me. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? If y'all haven't already, please follow, like, and share. Get this information out to the people, you know what I'm saying? Especially dealing with this day and time. We talked about some really and important things that we're seeing that are brand new, you know what I'm saying? That are very important happening as far as waking up the masses, you know what I'm saying? So as always, Uncle Rod, man, I appreciate you, my man, and you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, and we gonna link back. I'm gonna have to get the good sister back on here, but I'll find out what's going on, and we're gonna work it out. In the
Okay.
meantime, hey man, when I say that I literally 3 times a week I'll be listening to you, you know what I'm saying, because it's very comforting hearing a voice that is talking on this caliber and this with this type of information that's so necessary. So I applaud you, brother, man, for what you're doing and just teaching us. You know what I'm saying? I applaud you 100%, man. Uh,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
yes, and sir. Again, you know what I'm saying, and I took this from you. You know what I'm saying? All tribes unite. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to get going, man. So
Brothers up.
appreciate. Yes, it. Appreciate y'all. Free Dr. York, free Larry Hoover, Kanye's right, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Hashtag. That's it. We see y'all next time. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Please follow, like, and share. We out of here. Peace and love.
Peace.